Hello, people of the world. So I guess this is called TED Talk at a fucking hotel.
Yeah, TED Talk Hilton edition. Except we're not in
Fitness edition.
Yeah, we're not in the convention center. We're in room 623.
There's gonna be like a giant animation on the screen that says "fucking TED Talk."
Except we're TEDx. We're not good enough for regular TED.
That's true. TED Talk.
When you do TEDx, people can talk about anything. They can talk about why some sheeps are black and why some are white. And
all right, so let's talk fitness. So, as you guys probably know, I'm a powerlifter. I'm competing this weekend. He's a men's physique dude. So completely two different worlds. So let's kind of chop up the differences between the styles of training, because I know for you guys who are kind of new to the world of fitness, and you want to kind of dive in, you guys kind of don't know where you want to start, what you want to do, how to get there. So we'll kind of break down the different styles of training, and we'll start with Ethan. Shooting the shit.
What you want to talk about? You want to just do like diet, exercise, and then like competition?
Yeah, sure. We'll do like
that's pretty straightforward. That's the main three.
And supplementation, diet.
Yeah. So starting with the diet, it's really going to be a high protein based diet. So right now I weigh like 163 on an empty stomach. Right. My macros currently for a lean bulk are 340 grams of carbs, 55 grams of fat, and 205 grams of protein. So as you can see, that goes against the standard of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, because protein helps with muscle growth, and bodybuilding is all about muscle growth through natural and unnatural means. The carbohydrates are really there for energy and just for being able to give the muscles glycogen. You're going to find a lot more carbs on a bulk than you would on a cut. And then my fat is low as a sacrifice so I can get some more carbs and some more protein, because if you guys remember how it works, protein and carbohydrates are worth 4 calories per gram, and fats are worth 9 calories per gram. So if you cut your fats in half, you'll have a lot more to displace for carbs and protein.
So you can eat all of the chips, all of the pizza.
Yeah.
All of the things.
No, not pizza, because that's cheese.
That's cheese.
Yeah.
Well, you could eat technically pizza crust and pizza dough.
So if you are going for a lower fat diet, you are in luck because of the way that the country has structured the dietary thing of all like the whole like low fat, even though it's not fat that makes you be fat, it's just calories. So you'll find luck in being able to eat low fat stuff, but it is hard sometimes because if I want to have a hamburger, that's about 25 grams, for a not super
solid
lean. Yeah, about 25 grams of fat. That's half my daily fat.
In one burger.
Yeah, in one burger. So honestly, what I've been doing is just eating 2 meals a day. So my breakfast is going to be a cup of coffee. That's it. And then my lunch is what I'll eat before I go work out, which will be about 1,500 calories. That's almost half my daily intake, is eat about 2,700 calories. Eat about half then, wait about an hour, go work out, and then eat the rest when I get back.
So would you say you're kind of intermittent fasting type of thing, or not really?
I picked up the intermittent fasting kind of method from my competition prep, because I'll be doing I still do fasted cardio every morning, much lower intensity, about 20 minutes, but it is fasted cardio, so I don't really have a breakfast anymore, and I just have 2 meals a day. One, I did that when I was cutting because I was eating a lot less food, so I want to make the meals seem bigger, so it's not like I eat little bits. I just want to like fill myself up, get hungry again, then fill myself up again, and it just kind of stuck, and it's been working for me pretty well.
So would you say the bodybuilding diet's very strict? Because I know bodybuilders usually eat like chicken rice vegetables,
yeah,
steak rice vegetables, potatoes.
People run it as IIFYM, which stands for if it fits your macros. That is the boat I'm in. If it fits within the macronutrients you have selected, you should be able to eat it. Your body's going to treat it the exact same way. Now, if for some reason your macros allow you to only eat McDonald's hamburgers and chips, you're not going to feel very great. Theoretically, you can lose weight eating McDonald's if you eat less calories than you burn. That's just basic science there.
Actually, there was this YouTuber, Sohee Lee, who during her contest prep, she was a bikini contest, and she would eat a full-size Snicker bars and ice cream every single day throughout her contest prep during her cut, and she just did that through IIFYM.
Yeah.
You can eat kind of cruddy foods while you're bodybuilding is the point.
Yeah, and that's where you make up for the supplements, which we'll get to in a second. People who run it with the whole like chicken and broccoli type thing, that makes it very easy to do your macros, because your rice is going to be your carbs, your chicken is going to be a little bit of fat and your protein, and then your fat can come from wherever else. And it's always good to eat vegetables. You know, it's always good to get your vitamins. But I'm just saying, if you're on a bulk, especially, feel free to work some, you know, better, you know, more, let's call it more tasty foods into your dietary plan, because it can work. Okay, I can structure my day around eating In-N-Out for dinner as long as I have a protein shake for like lunch, basically. So I truly do recommend counting calories and tracking your stuff in an app like MyFitnessPal, because it makes it a lot more fun to kind of plan your days out. Like, oh, what am I going to eat today? You can kind of build it together, and it also allows you to kind of recognize what foods are really made of. And in terms of supplementation, it's really going to be, especially on a cut, it's going to be a lot of BCAAs. It's going to be a lot of stuff. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, really, if you're a natural bodybuilder, when you're cutting, it is going to be the top 3 goals of yours. You know, 1 is to lose fat, obviously. Number 2 is going to be to make sure that you do not lose that muscle that you worked so hard to get. So it's going to be all about supplements like HMB, which stop your muscles from degrading when you're on the cut. BCAAs, which are branched chain amino acids, which stop your muscles from catabolic. Yeah. So you do not want your muscles to go catabolic, because when you're eating less calories, your body is going to say, okay, I'm going to take fat to burn, and then I'm going to take some muscle to burn. You do not want your body to be taking that muscle to burn. You want to be burning the fat, and that's where things like thermogenics and other sorts of kind of fat loss stuff works. But at least for when you're bulking, it should be creatine and whatever pre-workout stuff you want to do. It's not super, you can make it super complicated, but in reality, when I first started off, it was protein shake and creatine. That's it.
So yeah, kind of similar to powerlifting too. It's very minimalistic, or both of us are kind of minimalistic in terms of our supplementation. But there is something to be said about like fat burners and stuff. It's not, no supplement's going to fix anything, right? It's everything, right? It's going to be kind of what it's supposed to be, a supplement. It's going to help in certain ways, but it's not meant to be kind of like an end-all be-all to fat loss or whatever. So if you guys are looking for easy fat loss, don't look at a pill. Yeah. Look at calorie deficits.
That's smart. No, and you're going to be doing a lot more supplements when you're going to be in a competition prep. When I was in my prep, I was taking diuretics, thermogenics, CLA, which is a fat loss supplement, the creatine, HMB, BCA, like so many. I was taking green vibrance too. I was probably taking about 20 pills a day.
I just remember seeing his supplement stack on his desk. It was just crazy. Like the entire desk was full of supplements.
I would see how many pills I could swallow in one and go, and the max was like 16. It was absolutely insane. So yeah, competition is a whole nother level thing. In terms of the training, I'll kind of keep it short and sweet. You're going to be training 5 to 7 days a week. I recommend around 5 or 6, because you do need time to rest. It's going to be a lot of high volume, but not necessarily super high intensity. You want to be feeling that burn, and you want to have as much time under tension as possible when you're doing the exercises, but you're not training for strength. So please, please, please focus on not becoming someone who likes to ego lift, because you really just want to get the full range of motion, time under tension. Yeah, those are the ego lifters. It is not about the numbers with bodybuilding. Sure, you can make it that way if you want to brag to your friends about it, but if you're looking to grow in size, you need to be doing higher rep ranges. With higher reps comes a lower weight. It did take me a while to figure that out. I was just gonna say like, oh dude, I can pull like 160 for a tricep pull down on the weird machine that's like half. Right? So I'm like, okay, I have to do that weight. No. If you're on the second set out of 4 and it starts to be too much, drop the weight. Just let the ego take a little bit of a hit so you can get an actual good workout.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's see what else. The competition stuff.
So just make sure that you guys, when you guys are implementing your resistance protocol for bodybuilding, it's going to be of course, you're going to utilize what's called progressive overload. You will do this for powerlifting too. Any type of fitness, you need to be consistently pushing yourself a little bit farther, so doing more volume, a little bit more intensity. With bodybuilding, you're going to stay probably within 65 to 85% of your max range, but you want to be doing more volume, more intensity every single time you come to the gym. You don't want to keep being stuck at the same 3x10 routine, one body part a day type of thing for the rest of your life, because that's how you're going to hit a plateau really fucking fast.
Yeah. If you are someone who has been training less than 2 years, if you are on a bulk, your weight should be going up by at minimum 2.5 pounds per week, the weight for your lifts. If it's not, you need to be eating more, or you need to be changing your training style. It's just basic science.
So now let's talk about competitions. What everyone wants to hear about, because we're competing. Well, we both.
This guy's competing.
I'm competing, but we both competed in the past.
I'm gonna be very, very honest here. Just because physique competitors and bodybuilders look look so good, it doesn't mean that we're healthy. I did not have a single piece of fruit for 3 months because it just wasn't part of the diet that I chose to have, because I wanted to be able to eat enough food. I didn't want to have an apple because that's all carbs, and I was only able to eat like 10 grams of carbs per day, so I'd have that come from something else because it just was something I did not prioritize. I got my nutrition from pills. Right? It's not really the best way to live. I mean, I was on a double dose of diuretics. I almost gave myself hyponatremia from drinking too much water. Excuse me. John saw me that day when I was going through that, and it was really bad. I was wearing 7 layers of clothing and I was shivering. I took 400 milligrams of caffeine and I still felt fatigued. I could barely walk up my stairs. There's just so much with it. It's definitely not healthy. The diuretics are probably the worst part. Now, diuretics can also be referred to as water loss pills. They basically make you expel all the water from your body so you can get that stage ready look, which is kind of like the vacuum seal, like really dry looking. Your muscles shrink, everything shrinks, and it's even worse if you're a natural competitor because you don't have any other size coming from, anabolic steroids or anything like that.
Yeah, so you should also say diuretic pills, when paired with being already depleted of glycogen, because most people who step on stage are very low carb at that point. When you pair it with diuretics and drinking a lot less water than usual, you're setting yourself up for a situation that can possibly be fatal, which is why you'll see a bunch of these people on the front of like fitness magazines and stuff that are like 4% body fat. That's not how they are year round. It's impossible to be that low body fat year round. I was about 8% at one point. He's been in contest prep before, so we both know what it's like to be.
I was probably at
low
5.5%.
Yeah, he was way lower than me, but even at 8%, I was eating like maybe 1,500 calories a day, and I had no energy. I was exhausted. It wasn't a good feeling, even though I looked really great. So there's something to be said about what like fitness is, kind of what the perception of people on the outside of fitness versus what it actually is. And I think it's important to keep that in perspective as someone who's new in the gym and wants to become shredded or ripped or whatever. It's not healthy overall to be that lean all year round. So
yeah, and if you see someone that's 4% body fat all year round and they're still able to be making significant gains in terms of strength, you need to start asking some questions, because naturally that doesn't happen, especially if they're claiming to be natural. There's a pyramid. You can either be strong and big, or sorry, not a pyramid, but it's two choices here. You can either be strong and big, so strong meaning you can be able to make gains, and big meaning that you're not super lean, or you can be lean and not as strong. Right? You can't have both naturally.
Unless you're a freak of nature, and then
then hey, good luck to you, and I wish I had your genetics.
Then right? I will see you at the Olympics.
Yeah, see you at the Olympics, man.
Because that shit is impossible.
Yeah, no, I mean, people like after I finished with the competition, they were like, "Dude, you looked really unhealthy." Honestly, I mean, at my weight here, and especially doing it naturally, I stepped on stage like 135 pounds. Right? I was 135 pounds. Like that's so crazy to me, because right now I'm sitting at like 165 and I am chilling. I can eat whatever I want. Like I feel like so good.
He just drank the soda over there.
Yeah, I can drink a soda if I want. Like just like it's so good. Right? I mean, it's just so much better. That's why competitions are one day and they're not an entire thing. But yeah, I mean, there's more to it. Please do your research if you're thinking about getting into bodybuilding. But I think I'll turn it over to John. So
now let's talk about powerlifting. So we'll start with diet. Diet's very simple. Eat whatever the fuck you want. It's IIF1M pretty much. It's not like eating donuts and cake. Like a lot of people see powerlifters eat donuts and eat candy and stuff. It's because we use food as more fuel rather than we use it as a means to an end, So for us, it's more about what is going to help us succeed hitting our lift that day. And usually in that short term is really short-term bursts of energy. So you'll see a lot of powerlifters off stage or off the platform. They'll eat candy. Like I just bought Sour Patch watermelon for my competition. It's because we're so depleted of water and glycogen going in, because we have to water cut severely as well, that we need that quick burst of energy to get back on the platform and actually perform. So the main difference is with powerlifting, you're eating to perform, not eating to look better. So in a sense, you do want to make better choices. Like about a few weeks out from competition, I would cut alcohol and cut stuff like that. But honestly, I went through this entire meat prep eating pizza, eating burgers, eating stuff that I like to eat, just because it's more performance oriented and it's stuff that makes me feel good personally. And the biggest thing about powerlifting is mindset and mentality. if you're not in a good mindset and mentality, you're not going to hit your lifts. If you're depleted of glycogen, you're not going to hit your lifts. So you need to basically view food in a completely different way in terms of there is no good or bad food, there is only food, and eating that food will help you lift, so eat the damn food. So my coach Hector always told me when I was concerned about like eating kind of more junk food, he would just say, go home, eat a piece of cake, go to sleep, wake up and lift. Because that's really what it's all about. I'm not saying eat like junk all the time, but it's more performance oriented rather than eating super clean to be super shredded. So in terms of supplementation, it's very minimalistic. Everyone knows I'm a very minimalist when it comes to supplementation. So all I take is a pre-workout made by Omar Isuf. He's on YouTube, so go look him up. He's great. But he basically puts creatine, citrulline malate, and beta-alanine. That's it. I take 25 milligrams of caffeine in the form of green tea, and I also take, of course, the standard aminos, multivitamin, fish oil, ZMA, and a sleep aid, sleep support. All of this stuff isn't really unnatural in any way. It's all natural substances, so you can't really knock it. I also take protein powder, stuff like that, but there is no, like, we don't take any HMB, we don't take any kind of things to give us a bigger pump because we don't need it, because we're basically lifting within 1 to 5 reps. We never go over that really in any of our main lifts, that is. And we never really exceed 10 reps for our accessories. So supplementation is very minimalistic in terms of powerlifting. There are people, of course, on steroids and on performance enhancing drugs in our sport, but in terms of natural lifting, you want to stay with all the natural compounds, everything natural as possible.
Yeah, and I will say, when you mentioned ZMA for sleep is going to be universal between any type of fitness thing you were doing. You need sleep. You need, like, I don't know.
8 hours.
I'm not going to try and pick like a minimum for you, because sometimes it's different per person. But I will just say that you need a full night's of sleep. A full night's sleep to be able to be successful, and to be able to make gains, and to be able to want to actually go back to the gym. Because if you get 5 hours of sleep a night and you're trying to train 5 to 6 days a week, you're going to hate your life, and you're not going to want to go, and you're not going to be able to go through with it. If I would turn off my alarm and just sleep after a hard day of training, I would probably sleep for about 10 hours.
So I will say, like,
crazy.
In terms of sleep is basically the #1 aspect of powerlifting. If you don't get enough sleep, you're not going to perform. So, for example, one night I couldn't sleep, and it was before a heavy deadlift day. I was scheduled to hit 5 sets of 2 at 97%, so really heavy doubles. And I worked my way up, even though I only got like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I worked my way up to 405, which is like something like 75-80%. And I could barely pull 405 for doubles. So I went home, fell asleep, relaxed, reset myself, came back the next day, delayed that workout a day, hit my numbers because I got a full 10 hours of sleep to make up for that night before. So sleep does severely impact your performance in terms of powerlifting. So the night before meet, always try to get a good night's sleep. I know there's a lot of nerves surrounding a meet day, a competition day, but you really have to get that sleep. So take a sleep supplement, take melatonin if you absolutely have to. Sleep is important. So onto the training protocol. So we take our training in cycles. So we do 4-week cycles, then a deload, usually. This is because our bodies can only handle so much load over a certain period of time. And we go through what's called a peaking cycle. So for 4 weeks, you're going to be increasing the load, increasing the intensity, increasing the volume. Then you're going to hit kind of like a plateau where you feel like shit. Then you hit a new max, and your body's still going to feel like shit. Then you're going to deload for a week. Then you'll climb back up again. So it's kind of this cycle of training. So it's not like bodybuilding where you recover really quick, because hypertrophy ranges, you kind of recover relatively fast. So say you hit chest Monday, you can hit chest again Wednesday if you want to, because your muscles are fully repaired. But in terms of the heavy compound lifts, I cannot deadlift twice in a week anymore, especially at high intensity. If I deadlift on a Wednesday, I cannot deadlift for another week. So the next Wednesday, I deadlift again. So generally speaking, my split right now, when on Monday it was heavy back squats, Tuesday was bench, Wednesday was heavy deadlifts, Thursday I had off because you need a rest period between deadlifts and something else. And then Friday I came back and it was all ancillary stuff. It was front squats, hip thrusts, block pulls, deficit deads, stuff like that. So our training focuses 100% around compounds. So that's why our physiques, me and him, we look drastically different. I'm very thick, while he's a lot more lean, even though he's getting thick. Even though he is thick, It's a different kind of thick.
Hey, thick with 3 C's.
Thick with 3 C's. But we focus heavily on the back, shoulder mobility, shoulder stability, chest, and legs, and glutes. Glutes are a huge one in powerlifting. Focus on the butt. I have an entire day dedicated to the butt stuff. Because it's that important. Because it's that important.
Racing, bro. Oh shit.
No, I have a
dude.
whole day dedicated to my ass because it's
Alright,
actually
alright,
it's that
Super
important.
stuff.
Hitting hams and glutes is one of the most important things. Posterior chain is one of the most important things in powerlifting. Now, you train with a purpose. So with bodybuilding, it's very subjective in terms of what body parts you need to
It's really
increase
selfish.
size of.
It's really selfish sport.
I mean,
It's all
powerlifting
about
is
you.
Too. Powerlifting is too.
You are your own team.
Yeah, you kind of are in both sports, except powerlifting is now becoming more like team oriented. But I will say bodybuilding is a little bit more like subjective in the way that you see a body part that you need. So I like say, for example, my chest has always been the smallest part of my body. If I was doing bodybuilding, I would spend about 20 more hours on chest than I would on my back because my back is already thick. But in powerlifting, you don't give a fuck. In our training protocol, we focus heavily on the compounds. So all of the stuff that we do is all compound based. We barely do any isolation. The isolation work that we do is all basically chest press and rows and lat pull down. That's really all we do in terms of isolation. We don't do very much like I haven't done like lateral raises, front raises, or dump flies.
That's all my stuff.
In like
basically
10 years. I also haven't done like arms in like 10 years. You can tell the difference in like the arm size just because he does isolation work on his arms.
Yeah.
But like for me, and for powerlifters in general, there's no point in isolating muscles because all the stuff that we do is compound. So basically it's broken down into days of compounds and days of more compounds, if that makes sense. And then usually we have one bodybuilding day a week. So it's usually 4 days of compounds, one bodybuilding day a week, and then we rest. And rest is kind of the most important thing in our programming because if you don't rest and if you don't recover, you can't fucking lift at all. So I guess those are the main differences between powerlifting and bodybuilding.
There's so much more.
There's
you
a
can
lot
talk
more.
for hours, but
you
just
can
to
literally
kinda-
talk for hours.
Yeah,
on this shit,
but
'cause
just to give it a general overview, that's kind of what you're looking at.
But in summary, it's good to do both. If you are trying to compete in either sport, you have to specialize. You have to say, okay, I'm going to forego my aesthetics like I have and go completely for strength, or you have to go straight for aesthetics and forego a lot of strength. So if you take away from this is do both. I like to give my clients I actually train with power building programs. So we do probably like one compound day a week and the rest is kind of bodybuilding and ancillary stuff because that way you're getting both adaptations but you're doing it in a very minimalistic way both directions. So you're getting more strength adaptations at the same time as building mass. So what you can do with that is say you can squat 225 now for a 1 rep max. Now, for your hypertrophy squats, you can do 75% of 225 instead of 75% of, say, 185 was your old max. So that way, your strength is going up, but also because certain muscles react strongly to high intensity, you can push that intensity with the strength program, but also push the hypertrophy intensity up with the strength program as accessory, if that makes sense.
And if you want a more visual representation, at least for men's physique, which we wear board shorts, so we're not like the little mankini type thing. We're like a V shape, like a V.
You're
and then
just a Dorito.
Yeah, so we're like a Y, like the letter Y, and then John is like an upside down Y.
Yes,
like his legs are huge.
My legs
but
are
his
fucking
upper
massive, but
is
my upper
really
body
less.
isn't that big. And there's people like Larry Wheels that just
Oh
have,
my God.
oh my god, just
Larry.
I'll put a picture right here.
Yeah, have him doing the 405
like
shoulder
I'll
press.
just put them right here because like this shit is what we all aim for and it is fucking crazy. And his physique is like insane as well because he won his first bodybuilding
He's
championship.
22.
He's 23.
23?
Yeah, he's 20. He's like my age and he's already that big. So you guys can do it too. I hope you guys found this kind of informative. I know it's a long video. It's going to probably end up being 15 minutes plus. But it's kind of a good insight into two different methodologies of training coming from two drastically different people. Especially with the physique differences, people often wonder like, what's different if I train strength versus if I train strictly bodybuilding. So this is the difference. I'm very thick. He's very
if you
defined.
if you train for bodybuilding, everyone's gonna arm wrestle you, even though you might lose.
That's true. And then
that's the basic.
And then if you're a power lifter, you'll just fucking squat everyone.
Yeah, you can just squat.
You'll just squat people.
People. Just sit on the shoulder. And boop, boop, yeah.
Or you can go to one of those arm wrestling competitions.
Oh, yeah?
at like the state fairs or
Yeah,
whatever.
the underdog.
And you just destroy everyone. Or the best one that I've seen is the grip challenge at a carnival, where you hang from a bar for a minute and a half.
I've seen that.
So that would be some shit that powerlifters are good at. Or you can just show off, because I mean, ego lifting is fucking fantastic. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.